Welcome to the open mic. We do this call because MSPs wanted to know what we've been up to, what's new with the platform, what we fixed, and you folks wanted to do a little R&D or rob and duplicate automation ideas from your peers. George, is this the last open mic of the year? Do we have George?
It is.
These are
I know it is.
frozen
I
or
was told on a
furious.
call earlier today.
Yes, Aaron, it's the last one of the year, and we'll get back into it on the 2nd of January.
So I wonder if
George is
George
frozen.
lives. George, I wonder if he lives somewhere where it's cold. With that, I'm gonna miss you folks. I know a number of folks on the call are doing a year-end thing for you folks about their accomplishments, and I wish I could do the same. My year was mostly my son, so it started in February with a pulmonary valve replacement in his heart and ended what's still going on now with some breathing difficulties. My son's health has been a highlight of my year, and so have you folks. I love spending time with you folks, chatting with you, and seeing what you're building, because I feel like you're my type of people. Your brains think the same way mine thinks. And so I won't get to hear or see from you until next year. And so I'll miss you. With that, we don't have no one prompted me with this, so I don't know. Do we have anyone? Daniel, are you guys prepared to talk any of the issues this week, or you just want me to rattle on about it?
I can talk about a few things that happened. So we had one item that came up, I think it was on a Wednesday, where we noticed that there was some slowness, and after investigation, we noticed that the GraphQL action against the workflow executions table, which is a very big table because we run a ton of executions, that those queries to that table through the GraphQL action were causing database locks because they are just huge queries that have to go through a lot of data, and they weren't timing out properly. So we made a couple of fixes around that. And then yesterday's issue, I don't know if I have enough detail to talk intelligently on it, or talk intelligently ever. But yeah. I can also talk about some of the performance improvements that I discussed in the COOP that we're looking at building towards over the course of the next few weeks and months. But yeah.
And I've been monitoring the COOP chatter. A couple things to keep in mind. The largest team on the engineering side of Rewst is the stability and performance team. And then someone mentioned that we were too busy building AI features into the platform. We only have a handful of devs doing that. The stability and performance team is like 5x the size of the folks building AI stuff. And if it were me, I want fewer things to build, not more things to build. The reason why we're doing AI into platform is to lower the barrier of entry. Just like we added new pricing to make the entrance cost of Rewst less expensive, so Rewst can be more usable by smaller MSPs. We need to make Rewst easier to use, and that's a whole point of the AI work effort that we're doing here. And with that, I'm already looking forward to Flow. Thinking about the end of the year and not seeing a couple open mics has got me thinking about Flow again. So I'm super excited to start talking about that next year. And with that, That's my update. And I'm going to pass it over to George. Did we get him back, or can I be
Back,
George
I'm
now?
alive. No, just my internet had an issue, so we're on the old tethering. Thanks, Aaron, and thanks everyone for screenshotting my frozen face and putting that in the chat. Love it. Okay, we've got a packed agenda today with some kind of wrapped departmental updates from folks just looking back over the year, and we've got 3 partner demos as well. So a couple of quick fire announcements from me. Aaron did ask about it, but then I was cut off. Yes, this is our last open mic for 2025. We'll be taking a break next week for the holiday season, but we will be back on Friday, the 2nd of January. So knowing that, you know, some folks might still have offices closed, we'll still be here, and we're looking forward to seeing you. In other news, if you missed our webinar earlier this week with Thread, it was all about automation and AI. Aaron joined us. We also had Mark from Thread on there. Great conversation just around what Rewst is doing, what Thread is doing, but more broadly speaking, some of the cool stuff that you can do with AI and automation, and some really good sound bites in there. So I will drop the recording to that for anyone who's interested. Feel free to give that a watch over the festive period. And we've already got our January webinar lined up with one stream as well. So I'll pop that in the chat too for you guys to take a look. But yeah, rolling swiftly on, I'm going to kick it over to the man in Winnipeg, Mr. Daniel over there, building not just the Rewst product, but building character in the Canadian winter as well. Daniel, over to you.
Yeah, it's freezing cold. We have another blizzard, second one of the week today. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with, along with having to deal with Aaron. So I am worried that I won't include sound. So please let me know if you can hear sound on this. Instead of going through the dev notes this week, I'm going to do a little bit of a year in review for everybody. So let me know, please, if you can hear sound. But let's try this out. I may have to restart Teams. Sorry. Can you hear it starting now?
Yes.
Here we go.
Unfortunately, yes.
Walking through these conference halls alone, MSPs around me, but I'm missing home. You ask me why I'm searching every room for something that will wash away this gloom. They got automation talks all day, but what about the things that make me stay connected to the simple life I know? When business gets too heavy for my soul, hard water in my glass tastes clean, but something's missing from this scene. Where's the chili that reminds me who I am? Where's the taste of home in this business plan? You're all talking automation flow, but do you understand what makes me whole? Where's the chili? Where's the chili? Tell me where. Platform demos running through my mind, but Cincinnati flavor's hard to find. You wonder why I'm checking every stand. These MSPs don't seem to understand that running companies isn't just code. Sometimes you need something from the road that leads you back to who you used to be before the success set your spirit free. Hard water in my glass tastes pure, but my heart's still wanting something more. Where's the chili that reminds me who I am? Where's the taste of home in this business plan? You're all talking automation flow, but do you understand what makes me whole? Where's the chili? Where's the chili? Tell me where. I see my favorite partners in this crowd, speaking automation clear and loud, But when the conference ends and lights go down, well, I remember who I was before this town. Where's the chili? Where's the chili?
All
I
right,
love
people.
it.
That's all I got. Thank
That
you
was
all for the
beautiful.
wonderful year. Yeah, Aaron has a few other less appropriate songs. Reach out to him if you want access to those. But thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Daniel. Yes, another track to add to our Flow playlist for those of you who were there earlier this year. A little Easter egg you may have heard on some of the background music at the conference. Yeah, we've got a whole record studio here at Rewst. All right, next up with the marketplace update, and not one but two new create demos. It's the Terrence to Daniel's Philip, Mr. Jesse.
Oh God, I have to follow Daniel, and I only have one demo, so I guess we'll get one going here for sure. I have two crates to mention, I think. That was crazy. Do I have the right screen shared up here? Yes, I do. Okay, just making sure. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, tough act to follow, but I will do my best here. Talking about marketplace updates to finish off the year here, we've got a new crate for everybody, the Rotate Local Workstation Passwords crate. I will be demoing that here in a second. And then there's a second crate that kind of goes along with that I will shout out here as well. Lots and lots of bug fixes to finish off the year. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I'm going to try to touch on a few that may affect people that they may be keeping an eye out for. So a bunch of things with user onboarding. So if you are waiting for things for user onboarding, then take a look through these and see if the things that you are interested in are released. One of note is some additional stuff for super ops and for Ninja One ticketing. So if you were waiting eagerly for either of those to be either improved upon or added, those are in there now. Ninja One stuff, I think we're putting some docs out early next week to clarify what the functionality is there, but that has been added. Bunch of other things here as well. Another one was for the exporting org variables to CSV. If you were using that before, that got a pretty big facelift, so check that out as well. I think there were some issues with the CSV that we have now resolved, so that could be one that people could leverage if they were looking at that before. And then another one that I know a lot of people use is documenting Rewst form URLs. That was previously not looking for the managing org, so the MSP level org in all cases. That now is included in there as well. So if you were waiting on some of those changes, those are ones I know were pertinent to a few people. And then there's a bunch of other things that were adjusted here as well. And then in terms of coming soon, these are things we'll likely be releasing in the new year at this point. So early in January or going into the first quarter of the year, check out some of these things. We are still working diligently to get the user onboarding logging changed. We've got one or two Dropsuite things to do, and then we've got a traveling employee CA policy form crate that we're working on, and then some GDAP crate improvements as well. And with that, I'll jump into the demo that we got for today for the Rotate Local Workstation Passwords. So less of a demo, more of a show and tell. I'll kind of show what the workflow does, how it functions, and then a little bit about what the outputs look like. This one was created by the wonderful Paul D'Amico, so I hope I do it justice going through it here today. First off, why should you care about this one? Why is this crate valuable to MSPs? So this is one of the crates that's included in our kind of package of privileged access management crates, along with a handful of others. The purpose of this one is if you've got local admins on workstations, obviously keeping the admin passwords up to date for those can be a little arduous if you have lots and lots of devices that you're managing. I'm pretty sure Microsoft does have some functionality that does something very similar to this, but this was one that was requested by a good bunch of people to get this added. So it's one that we've created. You can either use the Microsoft functionality or you can use the crate as well. The main thing that it does is on a cron job, it's going to go out to the devices via your RMM. It's going to try to find that local admin that you have and rotate the password for them and then document that in your documentation portal. Reason again that this is valuable is because if you don't keep your passwords up to date, then you could be at risk of a security breach, or you could have issues where if the password isn't documented and you need to then go in and do some admin work urgently, you aren't able to find the password, aren't able to get in there and do the admin work that you need to do. Jumping into kind of the nitty gritty of the crate here. So like I'd mentioned, it runs on a cron trigger. I'll just open that up. It's set by default to run every Friday, but this is of course configurable, so people could adjust this if they need to. One of the most important things I think is that the account username is set by default to tech_admin. This workflow will create a new user if it doesn't find the user that you have specified here. So you can easily change this to be the username that you may have standardized over your local admins for devices. But if you don't have a standard naming set and you just leave this blank when you unpack it or leave it as the default, you will have a tech admin user created on all of your on your devices. So something to watch out for if you're unpacking this for the first time and running it. You, of course, as I mentioned, could put in the actual username for the local admins that you have, and then it will just find those and update their passwords on the regular schedule that you set. So it either can create a new set or it can update them depending on what you put in here. And then like I mentioned, apart from that, just walking through the workflow here, it's going to go to all the different workstations that you have in your RMM. It's going to do a few checks, and then it will go out to the device and rotate the password. Check to make sure that the password was changed successfully, and then it will go out to either IT Glue or Hoodoo, and it will create a documentation asset, and then update that if it doesn't. Sorry, it'll create it if it doesn't exist. If it does exist already, it will just update it. And then I have a visual of what that looks like in IT Glue. So we're just creating an asset, and then if I jump in here, this is one that Paul had done in his demo earlier this week for us, and you just get the password and the username and everything here. Couple important things that Paul wanted me to mention were it's searching by MAC address, so that avoids the issue if you have multiple devices with the same name. So it's looking for the MAC addresses specifically. So we have a unique identifier. It's also going to, if it's creating a new user, you may not see it on the device right away. I think most people probably know this, but you have to actually you have to adjust some settings on the device to see the admin users. So if you don't see it there, if you're creating new ones, that could be why, but just wanted to make sure that people know that. And then the full name of the user that's created will be whatever the username is, and then --local-admin on the device. So hopefully that helps for people who are running it for the first time, just a bit of information about the specifics of what the output would be there. But I think that's pretty much it. The other crate that I'm supposed to shout out that's been out for a while is the user password rotation that we have in the crate marketplace as well. These kind of go hand in hand. You can rotate the admin passwords of your admin users on local workstations. Then you can also do user password rotation as well. So we do have both of those as part of the privileged access management set of crates. Any questions?
Thanks, Jesse. There's a couple of questions in the chat, I think.
Sure. Let's see. I'm just looking here. Let's see. A bunch of stuff about pizza's name being pizza.
Yeah, pizza boxes.
Which makes sense, yeah.
Well, I mentioned in there that you can do this. If you fix this to do by SID, then you can actually have it just, no matter what the name of the local administrator, the built-in administrator is, it will change it regardless. So that way, if machines have different names for the local administrator, you can do it that way.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested to know, like, when people, because, you know, we pick a set of functionality and hope that we're close based on talking to customers and doing some of our own research, and then people at Rewst have MSP experience internally as well. If we don't nail it with some of these things and you want us to change those, then definitely let us know and we can make some of those adjustments.
Well, I just don't know that this would be useful because it's, as I said, especially if people happen to have they've got different names for the local administrator, it will work regardless of it. Example would be in our environment, we generally change the local administrator to a certain name, but we've had instances where it didn't get changed. But in this case, with Microsoft Laps, it does it by SID. So regardless of what the name is, it changes it.
Yeah, Lapse was the thing I was referring to earlier, where Microsoft can basically do the same thing. Yep. So I can take a note of that too and chat with the team and see if that's an adjustment that we would want to make. That's a good call out for sure. And then Chris Williamson said, careful with filtering by MAC address. Some VPN adapters will create network adapters with non-unique MAC addresses, and you have to be sure your RMM is filtering those out. That is a good point. How would you, yeah, well, and we can take it offline too if it's an in-depth conversation. Chris, how would you get around that then? Like, what would you use instead of a MAC address, out of curiosity?
Serial number, but you have to make sure that that's actually populated on all your devices. And there's caveats to every way that you use to identify it. You just have to make sure you identify the edge cases.
For sure.
Yep. Does it keep a history of it, or just the most recent password?
I believe it's updating the asset. So I can't speak for Hoodoo, but I believe IT Glue, if you update that asset, it keeps a record of what the update was, does it not?
I don't know, but I'm saying depending where you send it, having a history could be useful because say you have to go and restore a machine and you restore it to before a password happened, you need to know what the password was before that.
Yep.
Yeah, IT Glue stores version history. So
okay. So it wouldn't keep any of that information there.
And Aaron, do you have a question? Oh, sorry.
It does. You can see what the previous password was with IT Glue.
Correct.
Yeah, you can dive into it. You can go back to day one.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I had thought, and part of why we hadn't built it into the workflow, because I thought the documentation platforms did it. But as you guys are using it, if it's not sufficient, then definitely let us know, because that's a great point, Rod. Like you revert back and then you don't have the old password.
What if you're not going to use IT Glue? What if you just want to put this to a database, or you want to export it elsewhere? Like Export Ninja has documents that you can. Well, if you send it to a document in Ninja, it will have a revision history. But if you send it to a custom field in Ninja, which you could do, it won't keep the history.
Yeah.
Aaron, I see
there's
your
different
hand.
scenarios.
Do you have a question?
For sure.
But I like it.
Thank you.
What we ended up doing for ours, because we built this before actually Rewst came out with it, and then recently we switched over to per machine passwords. And what we ended up doing was similar to, I think it was John. We did by device ID inside of our management platform, and then just on top of that, we linked a custom field inside of Ninja to the IT Glue asset, or to the IT Glue password that was inside of the local admin password folder. Right. And so far we haven't run into any issues, anything like that. Device ID matches pretty well. So far we haven't run into anything, knock on wood.
Gotcha. Yeah, right. And if you have your devices documented in your documentation platform as well, then you can associate those things as assets in the documentation platform as well. It sounds like you guys are doing that. Is that correct?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Okay.
Sam, did you have another point, Sam?
Actually, yeah, I was just going to bring up, there's Azure Key Vault, which I don't know if people have used that, but you can, and the good thing about that is you have the auditing. So like for example, when you could store version history as previous keys, and I think you can view those if I remember correctly. But the good thing is that you can do it programmatically. So you could like create a script to update the custom field inside Ninja as well, and pull down from that Azure Key Vault, because you can push and pull keys from Azure Key Vault. It's pretty cool. So
awesome. Yeah, these are all fantastic suggestions. If there is a lot of demand for any of these suggestions, I know Canny on the marketplace side has not been kept super up to date. I'm around during the holidays, and one of my big things is going to be getting Canny up to date for the marketplace perspective. So feel free to go over there and put stuff in, because we will be looking at that in 2026 for inspiration for different changes and new crates and things. Any other questions about this one? This is great feedback. Just checking the chat to see if there's stuff.
Yeah, there you go. You can send Jesse a voice memo as per Brian's instruction and listen to them over the holidays. So, well, in the interest of time, guys, if you do have any more questions, just drop it into the chat, and Jesse can kind of connect with you there. We've got 3 partner demos to get to, but before we do that, we have our end of year wrap up and update from education with Clea.
Hello, hello. Really wanted Chief Baby Officer to present, but so far she only knows 2 words, hi and uh-oh. So better luck next year, but let me jump right to it. And I'll drop each of these links in the chat. First, business as usual. We have our December 19th shout outs, highlights, and a lot of documentation updates. Folks who recently got certified include Abdullah, Fred, Michael, and Logan for Rewst Foundations, Mark, Deepasim, Abdullah, and Trevor for Clean Automation, and our very own Justin from the Rewst team. For documentation, there are a lot of updates, including one that I'll touch on because we have a course about it. We have a recording of the live session. It is the Automation Lab Just-in-Time Admin Access. Not only does it show you how the crate works, but shares insider tips brought to us from real MSPs on how to deploy the crate, how to adopt the process at your company, and a lot of good insights there. So give those documentation links some love. But what I really want to focus on is, it's not Spotify Wrapped, it's better, it's Cluck You Capped. And that is a recap of everything we covered this year. I'll keep it very brief. I'll say you can read it on your own time because we have it all documented as a good team would. But I do want to spend just a minute on each area. And I'll drop this link in the chat as well. It was a very busy year for a very small team. It's me and 2 folks, Eddie and Lauren, at Cluck University, Rewst Education, whatever you want to call us, the people who give you courses and tutorials and who help you learn not only the product, but the automation mentality and skill set to succeed with Rewst. We started with a lot of documentation highlights. Shout outs to Lisa, our documentation manager, and Star Video Creator. If any of you remember that documentation feedback survey, you know Lisa is behind it all. We now have 101, not Dalmatians, but undocumented crates documented. Go give those docs some love. Go give us feedback. There are different action and endpoint tables and 95% of our integrations. You know, that is a lot of technical details, and we do it all to help you succeed with Rewst. We improved the left-hand navigation site. I am there right now. If I collapse it, you'll see that at the top, what you see here kind of matches what you see in the Rewst platform. We want to make it easier than ever for you to find what you need. And now I lost my place. If you're new to us, you might not remember this, but I know there's some OG folks here. Everything training Cluck University used to be in this site. We found a new home for training. We launched a learning management system, dedicated portal to help you track your courses, save courses that you want to take later, all of that stuff. Yeah, I've got a baby at home and very little sleep, so words are going to be interesting today. Thanks for sticking with me. Documentation is all the step-by-step details. Courses are the why and how and practice implementing. We launched a day before April Fools, no joke, brand new site, migrated all our courses. And not only did we expand upon our core series of automation basics, Rewst Foundations, Clean Automation, and continued with our live training as well as weekly office hours, but we had a lot of new courses. I think it's close to 20. Jinja in Action, Completion Handlers, Process Engineering. Go grab that link that I shared in the chat and you can jump to whatever course piques your interest. Most of them are under an hour. You can save them for later. And, you know, what better time than holiday break to catch up on your Rewst training? We didn't just add more courses, we also took down some older ones that were not as good as we want them to be. We're working on some enhancements behind the scenes. And just to reiterate that if you are new to Rewst or if you have new colleagues who are learning the platform with you, Rewst Crash Course is your go-to. That one went live September 19th. We evolved live training, reduced it from 3 2.5-hour sessions for Rewst Foundations, 5 one-hour classes, clean automations, shrunk that down, blended the curriculum. Some of the stuff you do self-paced, some you do live with the legendary Eddie Chow, and you can find recordings featuring the legendary Eddie in our live training classes. We gave those a facelift in September. So you'll notice there's video recordings right there. And I want to end with some student shout outs. So folks who completed over 50 courses, Sam Vogel, and we see all your feedback surveys and we appreciate it so much. Help us make everything better. Timothy Kransberger, who I understand is kind of new and just hitting the ground running with Rewst. Donovan, Alexander, and Brian, shout out for everything that you do and all the time you've spent with us in Cluck University. Congrats to the company ITBD for leading the pack with the most course enrollments and completions across their entire team. I think they've got the most certified folks at their company. So, you know, give them a run for their money next year, 2026. Get more of your folks certified. They had 143 course completions, 167 enrollments. And last but not least, our teachers' pets, AKA the folks who show up regularly, ask questions, whether it's in our Discord channel or in office hours, Tanner Stein, Brad T, and Aaron Berg. Thanks everyone for learning with us, and stay tuned for much more and a lot of good changes in 2026.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Clea, and thank you to the broader education team for all the hard work and great things you've done this year. So many courses, doing live sessions, snippets, self-serving, lots of good stuff. And yeah, 20 courses is a lot. So if folks had a favorite one or one they'd highly recommend, drop it in the chat. Let us know what you thought the best course you took was for 2026. Quick circle back on documentation. Just one little thing I wanted to add is we do love seeing the feedback that we get there, whether it's thumbs up or comments. But just remember that if you're having an issue with something and you're looking for help, commenting on the documentation site isn't the place to ask for that. That's what we have Discord for. We have our own ticketing system. So if you need help, don't leave a comment on documentation because we can't help you as readily and as easily as we can in Discord. So if you do need any assistance, Discord is the place to go. Alrighty, let's roll into some demos. First up, we have Ryan. Ryan, are you here? Are you with us? So
yes, I am.
Now, Ryan,
can you see me?
I can hear you. And am I right, Ryan, in saying this is your first time presenting on open mic?
Yeah, this is first time presenting.
Well, welcome, and thanks for. It's always good to see new face and new folks demoing some new stuff. But whenever we have someone new, we always like to do a little bit of who are you, where are you from, what have you been doing. So maybe you can just give us a bit of background about what you do, the MSP you work at, and how you've been finding Rewst.
Yeah, so my name is Ryan Shado. I work at an MSP based out of New Hampshire. I've been working there for a little over 3 years, but just stepped into this automation role over the summer. It was my first introduction to Rewst at the time. And since then, it's been a ton of fun getting to learn the platform, build with it, and the community has been super helpful. So first time in Rewst, first time using Jinja 2 was super stressful, but it's been fun. And so there's a lot of stuff that I'm still learning.
Cool. You said you were doing something at the MSP prior to moving into a more automation focused role. What was that?
Yeah, I was working on the security team, so I was a security analyst, and so the opportunity popped up for automation role to be filled, and I loved kind of the desire to help make things more efficient, make things run quicker, things like that. I also felt the security tasks I was doing was very mundane, whereas there's just so much new, fun, and exciting things that can kind of pop up, and everything's different, which I love.
Cool.
Ryan, George,
Yes.
let me interrupt. I'm popping in because I came from cybersecurity to automation. What did you do in security?
So I was a security analyst, so dealt a lot with incident response and trying to isolate situations. If there was an incident, if someone clicked phishing emails, downloaded malware, any sort of stuff like that. Also ran a lot of security tasks for our clients, so dark web monitoring, password cracking, things like that. And so it was a ton of fun. I did enjoy it a lot.
One of the things that I like about automation over security is that it's a lot more measurable and a lot more transparent. Don't get me ranting about cybersecurity on this call, but when we do an automation, we pretty much know exactly what it's doing. When we install EDR in an endpoint, all we have to do is look at marketing material. That's all the information that we get. We get marketing material and a SOC. And so it feels like automation is a lot more transparent, which makes me a lot happier.
Yeah, no, automation is definitely a lot more fun, and you have a lot more kind of control over the environment as well, which is wonderful.
All right, sorry, I'm out of here, George.
No, you're good.
Had
You're
to say
good.
hi to a cybersecurity person.
Yeah, no. Well, Ryan, let's jump in. Maybe just give us a quick overview of the process that you're automating, and show us what you've been cooking up.
Definitely. Yeah. So App Builder is amazing. I love it. And with it, we built a website for our technicians and just our entire team as a whole. So that way they can pop in here, see different reporting metrics, access different forms, things like that. And it's a really wonderful tool. The only caveat and issue we found was there was no ideal backup solution for this. So whether I went in and made a change and realized the next day I wanted to revert it or anything like that, I had issues having a solid backup solution. And so what we ended up doing is we tied our Rewst environment into our GitHub environment and chose to store all of our templates in GitHub. And so anytime we needed to make a change, we'd make adjustments to the templates in GitHub, and then we would have those pushed back to Rewst. Now, it was kind of tricky because one of the biggest issues was in our templates, we often called Jinja code, which in the Rewst templates works fine. It isn't interpreted until it's being run, and so we had no issues. However, when we tried to pull the data from GitHub and then write it to a template, we ran into an issue where it would try to read that Jinja code at the time it was calling the template. So what I ended up needing to do is convert my entire template into base 64. And it's really unique because it still allows us to have the data be passed from GitHub down to Rewst. And then when we go to utilize that template in the web app, we just have it decode the information there in the template itself. So it then decodes it so it's back to regular ASCII. And so one of the benefits here is not only having everything stored in GitHub, it makes it a lot easier to search anytime you need to find specific templates. So you can go in here and you can find any template by the same name. And one of the benefits of using GitHub as opposed to Rewst templates is you can change one file or variable or item across all the templates. So it makes that super efficient. And then the other beneficial the other important part of this is the GitHub actions. And so within GitHub, we created an action that allows us to call a webhook and trigger the workflow to pull any changes from GitHub and push them back into Rewst. And so it's a one direction sync. So everything goes from GitHub down to Rewst. All the changes are made in GitHub, and that passes everything back down to Rewst. The benefit is, again, here you have the backup, you have the commits, you have all your history stored here. And additionally, moving forward, as we start to grow this team, we have multiple people work on the same projects at the same time. And it also opened up the possibility for having a centralized repository for all our scripts moving forward as well. And so it was super tricky to kind of get it all set up, but essentially whenever the workflow is triggered, it goes through and it lists all the current templates that we have in our environment and pulls out the ones that we're trying to target specifically. So the GitHub file path is named the same as the template name. So roadmap.html is right here. So I just exclude the file path, or the extension. So I exclude .html, and the file name is there. So I pull the target template, and then if it finds it, it will go ahead and update it with the new base64 encoding. And if it doesn't, it creates a new template, and that's it. And it's pretty simple once it's set up, and I just have it running on a webhook, so it kind of will just run whenever there's a change push to GitHub.
Nice. Thanks for sharing, Ryan. Anyone have any questions or comments for Ryan on this? No, just want to go what people think.
Excellent.
Ryan, yeah, thanks, Rob. Yeah, people loving it there. I mean, quick question for me, Ryan. I saw it like relatively new, so that's super cool to see what you're doing. I see you asking lots of great questions in Discord. Is there anyone you want to shout out at all on Discord who's been kind of helpful to you or super responsive?
Yeah, he always comes in at the last minute. Ray, I think is his name. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's from Australia.
I don't know. I don't know if we know Ray from Australia. Actually, I think he's actually on this call.
Give me the answer whenever I need it, whenever I feel like I'm. Oh, he is. Yes.
There you go. Yeah, they are. Appreciation for Ray. Thanks so much, Ray. And thanks again, Ryan, for the demo. Okay, we're going to move on to Greg from Verve. Greg, I think you've got some interesting stuff. Oh, sorry, before we do that, Joel, did you have a no? Just clapping, hands in the air. Greg, you've got some stuff around Teams bots to show, I believe.
Yeah, I had demoed a Smileback bot a few weeks ago, and George, you and I were talking about some of the other bots that we use that use Rewst for the back end, and again, I just wanted to, where's the link? I want to say another thank you to Brandon for his awesome intro to the bot framework. But one of the nice things about Rewst is with their webhooks, you can throw just about any information at a webhook, and Rewst can then digest it and use it and turn it into something more useful. One of the things that we just set up recently is, I'll share my screen here. We use PagerDuty to for alerting, and one of the situations that we find ourselves in sometimes is the person on call gets an alert. They're in a situation where they can't easily respond, so they want to let the team know about what's going on. So like this is an example of like PagerDuty running on my phone, or rather PagerDuty client, and so we were able to add this button to notify the ops channel. It's a channel in our teams. PagerDuty has the capability to add buttons that all they do is send data to a webhook. They just send information about the incident to a webhook, but Teams doesn't really care, the particular format, because sort of a roll your own, digest the data. So it's pretty easy to just add this button that somebody's maybe already working with a client or out in the field, a critical alert comes in, and all they need to do is just let the rest of the team know what's going on. So it's a pretty basic workflow. We've got some steps here, actions where we digest the information from the message body that came in. We get the title of the alert and the status and this kind of thing. We capture who triggered the alert. And one of the things, I don't know, this is just like a feature. This isn't critical, but I wanted to be able to show off like the picture of the person. So this is like an example. This is how it would come into Teams. So it's got the alert title, tells you if it's been acknowledged, when I first alerted, when I was acknowledged, who acknowledged it, and then has their little profile picture there. And then you can click a link to open it up in PagerDuty. But that just gives us a handy way of letting the rest of the team know that something's going on. We should be aware of it. And oh man, I've totally lost my chat now. I apologize. If anybody's trying to chat with me about this, I am not paying attention.
You're good. You're good,
Okay.
right?
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. No, it's really cool seeing people are building all kinds of cool stuff with using the Teams bots. So it's another good example.
I know we're getting close to being out of time, but just do we have time to share just a couple more quick things?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's a handy bot. Another one that we use a lot is, I think this is the first workflow I ever made in Rewst, actually. We just call it Ticket Bot, where if you are in Teams, you can let me see if I can demo this without, yeah, of course, what's the curse about trying to do something live?
Demo gods, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, so if I'm in Teams and I want to tell somebody about a ticket, I could put just a ticket number or like a whole ticket title or something like that, and the workflow will parse through the message looking for a particular pattern of numbers, and then look at the information, and then in Teams somebody can then get details about it, see what the description of the ticket is, and then click a link to actually open it up in ConnectWise. So this is something that we use all the time for sharing ticket information, where give somebody a quick view of a ticket. And then the last one, you know what? I'll stop. Maybe we could talk about this some other time.
Yeah, for sure.
But because I know there's still one more person. We only have 8 minutes left.
Well, it's okay. We can circle back to this at another time, Craig. There's always room to share, but yeah, love seeing the team spot stuff.
Cool.
I think one question maybe I'll just pose just to everyone on the call. I see people doing this with this stuff all the time. So if people are interested in adding like a specific Teams bots Discord channel under Birds of a Feather, let me know in the chat. If you're looking for a dedicated space to chat more about these things and have a focused area, let me know. We can look into setting one up. But Aaron, have we got enough time for you to walk through what you were going to show us?
Yeah. I was working on kind of randomizing the data real fast, but I can just stick with that screenshot and show the back end. But here, let me screen share. All right.
I know you've done plenty of demos on Open Mic before. What is it you're walking us through today?
Today I'm going to go ahead and kind of walk you through. I have essentially a trigger report for our companies that shows us not only kind of what all forms are out there and everything like that, but it shows a full breakdown of kind of all of the triggers, whether they're always pass, and allows you to do all kinds of filterings and things like that. I'm trying to pull up the workflow right now, but over here on the HTML side, it was just part of the randomization. It was about 1,000 lines, give or take, of HTML to go ahead and write it out. But it essentially just dumps all of the trigger values for the orgs. And then from there, it goes ahead and queries which orgs are set up on those triggers, and then lists it out in a format like, let me pull this up over here. But it listed in a format that you can actually go ahead, filter through. You can sort through, cron jobs. Is it a time? Is it a only on like physical trigger, or what exactly it is? Of course, it is like a million messages up, and I should have grabbed that sooner.
All good.
There it is. But essentially, the report looks like this once it's all said and done. It lists out the activated orgs, allows you to search for, I'm looking for triggers that are for this organization, for this status, whether they're active, whether they're no longer active, or allows you to search by workflow ID to see if you have, 14 triggers for one of your workflows. The reason why I initially started making this was I noticed kind of our trigger count going up. And as I would go through, I realized I wouldn't always remove the always pass test triggers that I would add when I was testing workflows. So I really wanted a way to go ahead and kind of nicely view those and be able to go through and actually edit them and remove them. So that's why that trigger link is there as well, is it leads you to the exact workflow, the exact trigger ID, and then from there you can delete it, you can edit it, you can do anything that you need to do from that.
Sweet. And I think, Aaron, I saw this pop up in the coop because I think you were very kindly offering this and making this available to the community as well. Is that right? You're going to drop it in the workflow forum for anyone who wants to replicate, do a bit of R&D?
Yeah, I was going to drop it in there after this call.
Perfect. So for anyone who's like, what is this? Didn't know about this, on Discord, under our support channels, we have what's called the Workflow Forum, where members of our community, like Aaron, like others, are placing these workflows for folks to, as Aaron likes to say, rob and duplicate. So again, Ryan, if that's maybe something you're interested in sharing, I know there's a lot of interest and people excited with your workflow around GitHub as well. Perhaps you could drop some information in there too. But that's what we're here to do, guys, is kind of share what we're building in Rewst, get excited about it, make life easier for other people, and collaborate and get bigger, better, and much more automated together.
And the back end workflow for that is literally just 5 blocks. But yeah, I should have that open. I should have that posted over on the kind of sharing channel, probably right about 4:30 Eastern time.
Okay, thanks so much, Aaron. So Aaron with an H, pass to you, started to close us out for the final open mic of 2025.
Have a happy holidays, everyone. Gonna miss you the next week or two off of open mic. I'll talk to you again next year. And it's been a great year, everyone. I hope you folks have a good new year. Meow. Thank you, George and the Rewst team, for all your help this year, except for Jesse.